Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stash Report from the Stash Project. This will be our August compilation video for the new folks here. This is the video we do once a month, beginning of the month, to let you know all of the kits that you can expect, and sometimes we use expect in air quotes, for the month of August 2017. So we have some domestic releases. Not very much, but a few things that could be of interest to a few people. And then we have some international releases, as we always do. Good deal of it being reissues this time around. So, taking a look at the Notebook of Knowledge for the month of August on the domestic side of things. Round 2, one kit. That is going to be the AMT reissue of the American LaFrance Custom Pumper. You may recall that they reissued the other fire truck. I want to say it was the ladder truck, or it was the aero truck. There's three of those American LaFrancers, and there's like an aeroscope, a ladder truck, and a pumper. And so this is the second. They're going to reissue all three of them eventually. Basically, straight shot of this kit from its past. 300 plus pieces, 100 of them are chrome, which means, of course, you have to dechrome a whole bunch of stuff to get the seams off. They've restored the amber and red lights, so you, I guess, no longer have to paint clear lights. I don't know if the lights were missing out of this. I, at one point in time, had this one fire truck out of the three as a kid. It was one of those situations where it was way too much of a kit for, 11, 12-year-old kid to have. I don't know what happened to it. It's one of those kits I had for a really, really long time. I don't know if I eventually sold it or where it went, but when we eventually cleaned all of my stuff out of my parents' house. I mean, my dad's still alive. You guys probably know that my mom passed a while ago, but this was way before all that happened. When we finally cleaned all my stuff out of my parents' house, it wasn't amongst that stuff, so I don't know where it went. But I don't know if I'd necessarily be picking this one up. Maybe if I caught it on a good deal, kind of basis. But obviously, we've got brand new decals in here from Cartograph, the way the other one did earlier this year. It's going to bother me until I remember which one it was. Because I think it was, is it not February of this year? It could have been. It might not have been, though. I'm looking now, because it's going to bother me. Maybe it was last year already. Go backwards. Aero Chief. Yeah, so, okay, that's the telehandler one. So, yeah, there will be one more of these coming out probably next year this time. They seem to be about a year and a half between releases. Basically, they're just, as I said, it's a straight reissue. They restored a couple pieces, and then, of course, the brand new decals. Over at Revell, for the month of August, you have the 1/25th scale Max D, Maximum Destruction monster truck. That's the new Snap-Tight kit that has the Monster Jam tie-in. Allegedly, it has Monster Jam sounds. So they're still playing around with the whole electronic lights and sound things for the Snap-Tight kits. It's a little hokey, but then I sit there and I think about my, 4.5-year-old son, and frankly, a big monster truck that makes noise would be fantastic. So obviously, that's the market they're aiming at. Now, whether or not that necessarily translates into lifelong customers or even customers into the teenage years, I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. I'm still planning to get some build and plays probably for Christmas because my one daughter just turned 6 here recently, and he'll be getting close to 5, so they'll be in that area where they can start working on. They can assemble a build and play with minimal adult supervision, rather than having me put it together for them and then having them destroy it. That's my plan with that. There's going to be the reissue of the 1992 Mazda Miata MX-5. You guys will, of course, know that this is a 1/24 scale kit. It was put out in the, I want to say early 1990s or so, because the real thing's in 1992, so it was somewhere around there. 1993, so it was a year after, because I have Shazam! One of the original ones I picked up off of a friend. That kit's been out of production since 1993. It was never reissued, at least that I'm aware of. For a lot of people, that'll be a good reissue to have back. It is full detail kit, unlike the Tamiya first-gen Miata, which is a curbside. So, if you're looking for a full detail Miata, or a Miata that you could engine swap easily without having to create an engine bay and everything else like that, then obviously this would be the way to go. My dryer says move along. Then the last kit for the month of August out of Revell is the reissue, modified, very minimally modified retooling of the Ford Gran Torino into a 1976 model. This, of course, is a reissue of the Starsky and Hutch Torino. It's going to have factory wheel covers and a factory factory stock, I guess I should say, air cleaner induction system compared to the hot rodded setup that the Starsky and Hutch kit had. So it's a no-brainer kind of reissue. A lot of people were, complaining about the kit when it came out originally because it could only be built as the striped tomato. I know I didn't pick one up because I don't care about Starsky and Hutch that much, but I really also can't say that I would really, run right out and go grab this one either, but I would be more inclined to pick this up, being that it's a factory stock Malaise era Ford than the actual Starsky and Hutch car, which could only be built as the TV/movie car. By the way, the description for the Gran Torino, if you have like 5 seconds to kill, you want to go on Revell's website, go on Revell.com, and then you go up under, I believe it's new products. It'll be a little button on the top of the page. And it'll show you basically what kits are coming out each month. So if you don't want to watch this video, you can find out your own information. And beyond that, if you click on each kit, it'll tell you a description of the kit. And then once the kits are actually released, which is usually the third Wednesday of the month, then they will link the PDF of the instruction manual, so you can actually see what you're going to be building prior to building it. I think this is a neat little thing they've done recently. That's not something that was always the way. It used to be the instructions wouldn't be out for a month or two after the kit was released. Now they put up the scan of the instructions. Well, obviously the instructions are digital in the first place. They're just printing them, but they're putting up the actual digital version of the instructions right away as soon as the kits come out. Again, it'll let you see kind of what you're going to get, at least from the standpoint of how it builds up and what the parts are. But the description is there beforehand, and it talks very flowery language about this Gran Torino. And then if you go on to any sort of page about Ford Torinos, a lot of the flowery language is about how rusty they were and how the frames rotted and how they were legitimately the worst resale value for any mid-size car in 1970. So I realize Revell has some kits to sell, but the way they're talking about the Torinos, you would think they were the Torino Talladega, the Torino Cobras of the late 60s, early 70s, and not the last Torino that was ever made in 1976 prior to them being binned for the Ford Granada of all things. But anyway, moving overseas, there is really only a couple of things coming, or a couple of companies here. You got Hasegawa and Aoshima, Tamiya, the way they are, they're every here and there. And then Fujimi doesn't have anything for August either. So Hasegawa will be reissuing their Subaru Legacy GT Touring. That is the factory stock version of that station wagon. That kit, I don't believe, has been reissued since the early 1990s. So that's another one of those old Hasegawa kits they're going to be trampling kit value with. They're going to reissue the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 again, this time with the Safari Rally tie-in. This will give you some big night lights and a gravel suspension, basically a little jacked up for clearance kind of thing. The earlier reissue was a Tarmac Rally version. Get a reissue of the Japanese Touring Car Championship Honda Mugen Civic in the Castrol sponsorship. So that's the second one of those that will be reissued. You may recall the Jax one got reissued a few months ago. They're going to reissue their Sauber Mercedes C9, reissue their Toyota Celica 1600 1972 Nippon Cup. This is the legitimate race version of the 72 Celica rather than the sort of race-inspired version that also exists. And then last but not least, they're going to reissue their Jaguar XJS HE TWR race car. So this will be the first time in, again, quite a long time, possibly since, I believe, 1994, that the racing version of the Jaguar kit has been reissued. It comes with decals for the 24 Hours of Spa in 1984, which the car won. There is also going to be a set of decals done. Actually, I believe they may already be done at this point by Taboo Design for the Ski Race of Macau from 1984 or 1985. I can't remember which one it is. I have a supplemental sheet here somewhere if I can find it. And blah 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 racing car blah blah blah. Let me see here. 84. And then this decal sheet, which is done by Autocolor, which of course is the decal guys behind BMAX, is going to be reprinted. Right now it's out of print, but I've talked to those guys and they said they will be reprinting this. As you can see here, it has the Ghia Race of Macau decals, which are these Johnny Player Special decals. And then it also has decals to make the Donington 500 kilometers, which was a European Touring Car Championship. I believe it won that race. And then you can't see it because the instructions are on the other side, but the Strathmore Group stuff down here with these 5152 decals over here is a 1986 Japan Endurance Racing Series setup. So that decal sheet actually will make 3 different cars, one for Europe, one for Macau and China for the Macau Grand Prix, and then of course like I said, the Japanese Endurance Series. It is for the season-long Japanese Endurance Series. There are some 1986 Intertech races on YouTube, and the Jaguars were very, very dominant in that racing setup. It's a big V12 barge, but it's still it was still one of those cars that went faster than it could handle, and it did do okay in that Endurance Series. So. You'd have to really do some research, and I personally have not done the research to figure out which one of those 2 car numbers it was the more successful one and whatnot, but those options are out there for you. And then over at Aoshima, they're going to be reissuing the 2013 Toyota Crown Athlete, pre-painted in pink, the 2015 Crown Royal in white, and the 2015 Crown Athlete in black. Those, of course, again, all pre-paints. We've talked about this a gajillion times, but of course, Aoshima pre-paints are all pre-painted from the ground up. It's not just the body, it's the whole kit. In the model car lineup, they'll be doing the 79 Skyline 2000 GT ES. A few things are going to be tweaked there from the probably early 80s Skyline to make it into a 1979. I know there's going to be a new front and rear fascia on it, the way they've done with a lot of these Skylines over the summer. And they're going to reissue the 1980 Subaru Sambar 4-wheel drive. This is an old best car vintage kit. All the Skylines are too, but this is not to be confused with the current Sambar that they just did a fire truck of. And this is going to have a bunch of the accessory parts, because this kit has been done a number of different ways with roof racks and bike racks and surfboards and everything. It's going to have a bunch of that stuff thrown into it. On the tuned model car side of things, they're going to be reissuing the 2007 Subaru WRX STI with the Ings tuner sponsorship. If you've seen these kits in the past, this is the one that's dark blue. And then they're going to be reissuing the 2003 Toyota Crown K-Brake Hyper Zero Custom version 1. That's the white one of those. There was also a pink one that was done with version 2. And then there's going to be some wheel sets. You have the 21-inch Fabulous Various MB Phase 3, the Garson DAD, and the Zoerstein Traffic Star DTX. Those, of course, all be VIP wheels. The Garson DAD wheels are actually for a van. And then the 16-inch Muscle Magic AWC Steel Daytona wheels. They look kind of like NASCAR rims, and those are, again, VIP wheels for vans, but being a 16-inch wheel, you can probably put it on to a bunch of different other stuff. Then we're going to reissue the 330 chassis series Nissan Gloria, the 210 chassis series Toyota Soarer, the 430 chassis series Nissan Gloria, and the I think it's a 76 Toyota Celica Liftback 2000 GT. Those are all in the Grand Champions lineup. Those will be the last 4 of those. For the original Grand Champions series. Remember, there's like 5 of the Grand Champions series altogether, but the original one that has not, those kits haven't been reissued since 2009. This will be the last 4 of them, so all 16 of those kits will be reissued. Again, that's why all those 14-inch wheel sets have been reissued separately, because they go to those cars. Then in some spot runs, they're going to reissue their R34 Skyline, their BN Sports Toyota Mark II Chaser 5, the regular version of the Toyota Celica Liftback 2000 GT, the reissue of the MX-41 Toyota Mark II Toyota Chaser, that dual kit that has 2 bodies but can only be built one of the other ways, and then reissue of the Longchamp XR4 and the TE37 gravel wheels. Again, those are all things that have come out probably in the last 90 to 120 days that have sold out and are simply just restocks. That's like model car, tune model car, model car, model car, and then the tune parts series is what those things all work out to be. So, anyway, guys, that's the month of August. Not a whole heck of a lot of stuff there. We will be, aside from going into September, obviously, next month. Right now, October is pretty blank. It's also not in focus. There. Got these two Fujimi kits, which we'll talk about in the regular weekly show. And then there's nothing else here. Why is there nothing else here? Well, nobody has released their October kit announcement stuff yet, because that will be going into the Tokyo Model and Hobby Show, which of course is the second big hobby trade show that goes on in Japan during the year. That'll be when we find out all of the kits for the last, basically, the third quarter of the year, October, November, December, as well as into probably early 2018. So, like what I'm looking at, right now, it's the 2nd of August as I record this. So, whenever you see this, this was done on Wednesday the 2nd. As I'm looking at, Aoshima has done what are going to be their what I consider to be their spot runs for the month of September. Again, we'll cover that in a weekly video, which are kits that are reissues of stuff that already exist. One of them is going to be I thought I had it handy, but I don't. Like the Lamborghini Countach LP400, the original Countach kit, or original Countach model line, and also the first of their kits that they did of those Lamborghinis. And then there's several other reissues in that line of stuff that is just stock fillers. There's nothing for October, which would normally come out the same day, because that would be the pre-order stuff. That hasn't come out. Hasegawa hasn't announced their October line stuff yet. Fujimi has, but Fujimi doesn't do the trade shows, so they're sort of not, with it. And then Tamiya hasn't either, and there is going to be a 1/24 scale kit out of Tamiya for the third quarter. Some people who belong on forums already know what that's about. Again, I got some other stuff about fourth quarter because I got Revell stuff. So that's a weekly video that we're going to be doing here in a couple of maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But because I know we're a little out of sync again, and we'll get into that in a separate video of what we've been doing and why we haven't really been on the air for the last 3 weeks. And I'm sort of babbling here. I'm trying to keep the two videos separate, so I'm trying to keep my thoughts separate. So pretty soon here we will have a big dump of information, and we'll find out, like I said, all of the stuff. I've seen some complaining online about, well, Aoshima's being quiet and they're not announcing anything. Well, the show's coming. Just hang on another week or two. Probably middle of August, I would assume. We will start getting the information dumps, because the show itself is the first week of October, like the 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The middle of August, I don't know if Hobby Link Japan will be taking a summer break or not, but I know Hobby Search will be taking a summer break in the middle of August, and I expect that we will get, and that summer break is usually a universal thing in Japan, so I would presume we will get all of the hobby show stuff either right before that break, which is, let me take a peek at the calendar on my computer here, which is like the second, basically be 2 weeks from now. It's going to be the second week of August, going into the third week of August. Basically, it's like the 17th through the 22nd. So we're going to get everything right before that, or everything is going to get dumped that following day when everybody comes back on the 23rd. And because they tend to announce about 60 days in advance of the show, because they will be doing things, Aoshima especially, that will be coming out in the month of October, and they need those pre-orders of, the slots for those pre-orders to come available in time to, secure the orders, basically. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little rundown of August there. Now you know how you will be spending your money for the month, and we'll see you guys on the other side.